Welcome to the Female Guys Requested podcast. I'm your host, Siting Yi, but I'm often referred to by my nickname Ting Ting. I'm a certified AMGA rock guide and an SPI provider. I guide and instruct mostly in Red Rock Canyon outside of Las Vegas. This is episode 0 and it's going to be short. I want to use this episode to introduce the Female Guys Requested podcast. Talk about why I started this podcast and what I hope to achieve with this podcast. I've always wanted to do something for the climbing and guiding community. Last year, when I was approached by the AMGA to offer a day of mentorship to aspiring BIPOC guides, I eagerly seized the opportunity. However, I was nervous about what I should and could deliver. Even though I have taught numerous beginner and intermediate climbers the craft of rock climbing and helped them achieve their goals, I wasn't sure whether I have solid advice to give to fellow guides just because I stepped on this career path a few years prior. To be honest, I often wonder whether I want to be a guide myself. It's a rewarding job and I meet great people. But on my path becoming a guide, I was always the minority. I'm an immigrant, an Asian, a woman. I have felt intimidated, second-guessed myself, and I had many pep talks telling myself I could pull this thing off. Also, day in and day out guiding can be grinding. As I age, I worry that I'm running out of time to realize my personal climbing goals and save enough for retirement. Well, my aspiring BIPOC guides seem to enjoy the mentorship day. They thank me for reviewing the technical skills and appreciate greatly that I share my experience as authentically as it could be. I was relieved, and then a sense of accomplishment made me want to be a better mentor. That thought prompted me to start this podcast so that I and other people could learn from guides who navigate the complex terrain of mountains and life. My first plan for this podcast is to interview female guides to learn about their stories, pour their wisdom, and advocate our presence. I also want to seek out resources and guidance from related industry to better our profession and working environment. I named this podcast Female Guides Requested because I saw this note many times next to my guiding assignments. But this podcast is for all the guides from underrepresented groups. And I believe the material this podcast covers will be beneficial for a wider audience. Listeners, if you have any suggestion for this podcast, such as people you want to see interviewed, direction advice for this podcast, or simply want to give me a fist pump, please don't hesitate to reach out. The official launch date for Female Guides Requested podcast is set on March 8th. 2023, the International Women's Day. Please stay tuned.